From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a huge afternoon for July 4th, 2022, as Americans celebrate the 4th of July. But will they be celebrating the news that a recession is just days away? And could that recession be coming on July 28th? That's why you can't wait to get that forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state, because the financial cliff is around the corner. That financial cliff may have already arrived. We'll have the latest details today on Afternoons LATE for a special 4th of July edition. What do you need to do? You need to go right in this video right now and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Sign up to get those incredible newsletters Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system, because there's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You need those checks tonight, today, because the staggering of this economy dramatically changing by the minute signals that we may already be in recession tonight. I'll have the latest details on the breaking news across the board. Plus, we'll be looking at the situation going on with oil. We'll be looking at the week upon us. We're going to have the new non-farm payroll job numbers released on Friday. We'll have corporate earnings. We'll have Jay Powell's announcements. And we'll have the latest countdown to the CPI and the recessionary numbers. Also big news is that the Build Back Better Act is back on, baby. It's back. It's being rebuilt, but is it better? I'll have all the incredible details in today's recording. But you need to understand what's at issue today. Is that with a financial cliff just days away, or a recession already underway, you can't wait for those stimulus checks. You need to get the ones that are available tonight in this recording. Go right in this video, become a member, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And how much in stimulus checks are there? $100,000 on average in every U.S. state. This is federal stimulus from the federal government, from Joseph Biden, not from your states, not from your state legislators. We'll go over all this incredible news as a beautiful 4th of July kicks up its feet. It's a big night. It's a big afternoon. It's Afternoons, and America's most loved show at the midday starts right here, right now. And good afternoon, everybody. As Americans celebrate the 4th of July, America's major holiday is upon us, but also upon us is a potential recession. We'll go over the breaking news on that front today. Plus, we'll go over why the gas prices remain high and why they're not coming down. Plus, it's a big month and a big week. We have a lot of major news happening by the minute and by the hour. We're going to go over the recessionary pressures already underway. We'll go on and go over the Build Back Better Act heating up. But we're going to start first with those forced stimulus checks, which are in every U.S. state. It's great. It's incredible. And they're here. And you're not going to hear them anywhere else. Why not? Because the American landscape of financial broadcasting is upon us with LALATE. And in this recording, we're going to go over all these incredible checks, stay to the very end. But here's a preview of those checks starting right now. Back in the month of March, the President of the United States did a series of executive orders, and those executive orders were for forced stimulus checks. This is money from the federal government, not from your states. The executive orders provide a lot of money, up to $100,000 on average, and you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI and SSDI, go get them. When I say in every U.S. state, I mean they're nationwide. It does not mean they're coming from their state. They're not state stimulus. They're from the federal government, from Joseph Biden, and they did not need an act of Congress because they're executive orders, and they're huge. And how do you get them? They're coming up later in this recording. Don't forget to go right in this video, subscribe, become a member, and stay to the second half as we go over each of these incredible checks one at a time. But first, we're going to start with the importance of getting the checks today. Why? Because there may already be a recession underway. This is a shocker for the American people, especially for me, because I was the first American broadcaster financial news to report we're going into recession. But I reported that it's happening in January of 2023. My reporting back in the month of February says we're going into recession. A recession that'll last for 2 years, that'll start in January 2023 and continue to 2024. A recession is defined by 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. But what is the breaking news today? And it's a shocker. The breaking news today is that the U.S. economy may already be in a recession, and we will learn for a definitive yes or no on July 28th. But you're not going to wait that long, and you get the news starting right now. On July 28th, the Department of Labor releases the numbers for the gross national product of the U.S. economy for the second quarter of 2022. The first quarter ended with negative GDP growth. How much were we down? We were down in the first quarter, down 1.6%. When we see this data that comes in for the second quarter on July 28th, it's likely to say a negative 1%. Why? Says a new report from the Atlanta Fed GDP Now, that's what you should expect. And if that's the case, it purely defines as a recession. Remember, 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, you're in a recession. The difference is that you're watching this channel. The difference is that I'm telling you the news today on July 4th, nearly 24 days earlier before the official announcement. Imagine what's going to happen on July 28th. If the American public wakes up and are told that the U.S. economy is going into recession, everyone is going to scamper, scream, and rush for stimulus left and right. You're not going to wait till the 28th. You're going to get the money right tonight. What is that data that comes in from Atlanta GDP Now, and what does it say, and what do we need to know about it? The Atlanta Fed's GDP Now is a live gauge. It tracks the activity of the economy live. It is not delayed like the Department of Labor's number coming on July 28th. The history of the tracker is 100% proof, 100% positive accuracy, and no negative inaccurate results in nearly 10 years. From 2011 to 2019, the tracking error has averaged 0. That's basically really good. So that number of that Atlanta Fed GDP Now was released going into the weekend after we ended the second quarter of 2022 on July 30th. And what did it say? It said that it showed a negative 1% growth for the U.S. GDP, U.S. economy for the second quarter of this year. The first quarter, we already know, was down 1.6%. That would mean tonight we are already in a recession. Now, the National Bureau of Economic Research, when looking at the same situation, says that while it may not really be a recession just yet, every time this has happened, when there's 2 negative quarters of consecutive negative GDP growth, you go into recession. That's happened every year since World War II. And that is where we are tonight. Now, let me explain to you the significance of this. The significance of this is multiple elements. First is you need to understand that the American landscape is going to change very dramatically when Americans understand they're in recession. They're going to pivot very quickly in a way in which they haven't pivoted yet. Why? Because there's several periods of downward spiraling this economy is going through. Let's go over each of them, starting right now. I've identified them as 3 phases: November to September, September to January, and January to 2024. The current phase is underway, November to September, now to September. And in this current phase, I'm projecting a shrinking of the U.S. economy. Then for September to January, I'm projecting a massive pivot as a financial cliff hits. And then January thereafter, the recession goes underway. What is a financial cliff, and what do you need to know? A financial cliff is when the American people are blindsided by an event that they did not see coming, and they did not know to prepare accordingly. Let's go over the impact of a blindside of a financial cliff starting right now. A financial cliff basically involves when Americans are walking along singing a song, and suddenly they fall off a cliff. Why? Because they weren't tracking the economy. They weren't watching the economy on a daily basis as you are by watching LALATE. And then they think that what they have today is no longer there tomorrow. Let's go to the landscape of what will happen. In the labor situation, the unemployed situation and the benefit situation, one group at a time. First, the employed situation. Americans are going to get laid off. They're going to get laid off, and there won't be jobs ready for them. There won't be unemployment stimulus like they think there is still sitting around from 2020. It's all gone. Independent contractors, employees, the situation is all going to be bad. In the case of independent contractors, there's no PUA assistance anymore. In the case of employees, there's no PEUC, those extra weeks of unemployment benefits. How about that $600 a week boost? Gone. Yes, it's just not good. What about small business owners? No EIDL grant, no EIDL loan, no PPP, all gone. When the American landscape pivots dramatically, people get laid off, they're going to look for that next job, and it will not likely be there. Layoffs are underway. Corporate freezes are underway, hiring freezes are underway, and the third phase is store closures. Let's look at the landscape and see what happened. It started in the month of May when Walmart reported corporate earnings for Q1 2022 and said, hey, we got too many employees on the floor. We can't do this. And then the layoffs continued to come out one day after another, whether Snap and technology, whether it was Netflix in entertainment, or whether it was automotive. As Tesla announced 10% of its workforce gone. We had Coinbase announcing 8% of its crypto firm gone. And then we had the hiring freezes from both of them because they said the recession's coming. And then finally, store closures with Tesla closing its Silicon Valley location. You see what's going on? Americans are going to struggle dramatically when they realize there is no employment stimulus like they think there is. There's no job ready for them. Let's look at the next group. The next group are the homeowners and the renters. They don't have the type of items that they liked during the pandemic. There's no mortgage forbearance anymore. There is no eviction moratorium. And let's go to the retirees, SSI and SSDI, veterans benefits. There's nothing yet automatically raising up of your benefits anymore currently at the moment. So they're going to scamper and wonder, where is that money? That's why you got to get this forcible check in every U.S. state. These checks are in every U.S. state. They became law in the month of March, and you deserve them. You need to get them right across the board today. You can't wait to get these sums of money. These sums of money are on average about $100,000. In many cases, it's even more than that. And these are huge sums of money, and they're from the federal government. They're not from your states. So the states are not sending out the money. It's not state money. It's not state law. It's nothing from the states. It's just my way of saying it's everywhere. When I say it's in every U.S. state, I'm not saying it's coming from the states. I'm just saying it's where you live. And what do you do to get these incredible checks? At $6,500, a massive check for $80,000, $45,000. How do you get these incredible checks? You stay to the second half of this video, and we're going to go over each of these incredible checks one at a time. But first, become a member. Go right on this video and join the channel. What are we looking for this coming week leading up to July 28th? We're going to watch the gasoline. We're going to watch the lead up to the CPI. And, of course, we're going to look at the latest comments from the Federal Reserve governors. Here's what you need to know on so many fronts starting right now. Number one, in the gasoline situation. While gasoline was relatively lower this 4th of July weekend, Joe tracking about 111, sometimes a little bit lower, and the U.S. domestic unleaded tracking, in the high fours down from $5. It's not going to continue that way. Now, there are some analysts that are talking just today and yesterday, this is breaking news, that say they think gasoline is going to come down because they believe it was trading up based upon supply and demand. And now they think that the economies are slowing, there'll be less demand. I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. I don't buy that because economy's slow, because GDP comes in negative, people just stop driving. That doesn't make any logical sense to me. So let me just tell you, that narrative is out there. I don't agree with it, that people will drive less if the economy slows down. If you don't have a job, do you drive less? No, I mean, you still drive. Instead of driving to work, maybe you're going to drive to a job application. So it doesn't make sense to me, that type of analysis. I believe that the supply and demand issue remains the same. And that supply and demand issue is going to be detailed tonight on Evenings LALATE in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The narrative is the following, that the White House and the Western allies have fallen apart. Joe Biden addressed the situation over the weekend, and he said the reason that gasoline remains high is because of Putin, Putin, Putin. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It does not remain high because of Putin. When Putin invaded Ukraine, the gasoline prices shot up. But they're not staying up because of Putin. They're staying up because the Western allies have banned Russian oil and have not gotten oil from a replacement source. If you don't get replacement oil, then there's a shortage of oil. And if there's a shortage of oil, oil stays high. Pretty simple, you would think. But the White House continues to funnel that false narrative. They're also funneling a false narrative that that the companies like ExxonMobil are to blame with the higher price of gasoline. They're not. They don't have the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline for you in the ground. And finally, the White House continues to talk about other things like a tax holiday. Not going to save you any money. 17 cents, 16 cents a gallon. If you have a 10-gallon gas tank in that car, that's only $1.80. Does that give you a breathing room for the American people? No, it does not, as that concept has not won over the American people. Here's what you also need to know, is that in the next few days, we're going to have a lot of major economic and breaking news that is so much that I have been reporting on this channel for the last 3 days that I believe the month of July will be the most pivotal. I don't want to say catastrophic because that's scary, but the most dramatic, I guess you would say, month of 2022. We had thought it was May. Remember what happened month of May? Oh boy. I'm saying it's going to be a lot more severe than May. Let's go back to what happened in the month of May. In the month of May, we had Jay Powell announce that first major interest rate spike. And it was no surprise because we were told in February what it was going to do. But then we had Walmart and Target surprise us with that Q1 corporate earnings report, and boy, was it bad. That's when Wall Street went into the start of the bear market. They're in that bear market today as well. What do I expect is going to happen in the month of July? First, we're going to see that inflationary number. We're going to see that CPI release of this month for the month before. I mean, it's the June number released in the month of July. I believe it's going to track it the same as it was the month before. Second, we're going to see the reaction, and this is my projection. I'm not guaranteeing this one. We're going to see the reaction to the inflation number potentially the same, and then people realizing, wait, Jay Powell just keeps on raising interest rates, and it's not working. How do we know this? Because we had the data on Friday. The data on Friday was the headline inflation number, part of the corporate personal consumption number release, and boy, was it high. It was 6.3%. Has it shown that Jay Powell's gotten anything to work? No, at all. Not at all. Jay Powell had it at 6.6% the month of March, month of April, 6.3%, and month of May, 6.3 as well. This is the May number released in the last week of June. Folks, it shows that he does not have the tools to get inflation down. And if that continues to really resonate bigger week after week as we get deeper into recession or closer to recession, I think the landscape is going to really pivot dramatically. We saw the exchange last week between Liz Warren and Jay Powell on Capitol Hill. She said, is it potential you're going to say it's into a financial cliff? He said, it is potential. She said, you have a job to get price stability, which is another way to call inflation, under control, and to get maximum employment. Is that your dual mandate? It is, Senator Warren. Well, what if you don't get it right by raising these interest rates? Is it potential that you could send us over a financial cliff? Yes, it is, Senator Warren. And that financial cliff is what I talked about earlier in this recording. Financial cliff, I want to make very clear, is not the recession. It's before the recession. It's before the recession. And if you look at the track record, Jay Powell is not getting it done because he does not have the tools. Who was the first to tell you this was going to happen? I was. Back in February, I said, raising interest rates is not going to solve inflation. Why? Because inflation is caused by gasoline and cost of products at the supermarket. And gasoline remains high. As gasoline continues to stay high, then inflation, gauged by the consumer price index number, remains high as well. The Federal Reserve, when looking at that situation, would raise rates, and what do? They send you in a recession. I believe that this is going to basically eventually backfire in Jay Powell's face. That event has not happened yet. A lot of people are starting to talk about this. They call it the pivot. When is the pivot by Jay Powell going to happen, they say, or ask? They're basically asking, when would Jay Powell change his policy and say, you know what, it's not working. I have a dual mandate and I'm ruining one of them. I'm ruining unemployment to solve inflation. I'm going to stop. I don't know when it's going to kick in, but I do believe it's going to kick in sometime after the financial cliff. I believe the financial cliff is September, and I believe the financial cliff will manifest itself in a lot of different ways, and that is when Americans are going to look for that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. They're going to wait till the 11th hour. They always do. You're not. They are. And they're going to wait till the back is against the wall. The bank is knocking on the door to foreclose. The landlord is knocking on the door to evict. The employer is knocking on the door to tell you to pack up your bag, you're fired. And then the business owner has someone knocking on the door saying your business is closed down. When that reality kicks in at the 11th hour, Americans are going to move too late to an event that I've been telling you since the month of February is going to happen. It's not the recession. They believe it's the recession. It's not the inflation. It's not any of those. It's just the big financial cliff. And the way you prepare for this is you get the money right now. You do a series of things right now. First, you increase your savings. Another way to say get as much stimulus as you can. You reduce your debt, and you understand where this economy is on a regular basis. What's happening this week? We have a lot coming up this week as well, in addition to the days thereafter. In addition to waiting for that CPI number to come in, that'll give us the gauge about inflation, we're going to see if gasoline really tracks up again after the 4th of July weekend. Remember, after Memorial Day weekend, that's when gasoline really popped in just a few days, and that's where it came. Gasoline's been relatively low lately. Number 3, we're going to see that major non-farm payroll job creation number released later in the week. It's a big number. It is not how many people are unemployed. It's how many jobs were created in this economy in the prior month. And Wall Street's looking for a number of 250,000. It's down from 390,000 reported in the month of May. I think the market's caught between two narratives. I don't think they know it's good or bad news. At first, I think hot economic news was bad because the Fed could go higher than a 75 basis point and keep going. But now the market wants softer news. It's like there's a landing place between soft or hard. It's threading the needle right now, says one analyst in the new report. Employment should slow from May, but whether it goes to 250,000 consensus or more, there's always volatility, says David Page, head of macroeconomic research at AXA Investment Managers, in a statement obtained by Allied News. The threat is going to be lower. I wouldn't mind betting it to be in the 150,000 to 200,000 in early Q3, but it'll certainly be closer to lower by the end of the year. What do they talk about? They're basically saying Jay Powell admits he's trying to slow down the economy, cool it off, reduce growth, slow it down. So they're looking for data that shows that the economy is slowing down. But on this other regard, they don't want to show the economy screeching to a halt or going to negative growth, which would signal they're going to recession. And the fine line of where that falls is really dramatic. And I don't think that fine line is going to be found. We don't have a lot of earnings reports this week, but the weeks after that, boy, we do. We only have Levi Strauss reporting corporate earnings on Friday. Of course, on Thursday, we had the ADP employment numbers, and then we'll have the new jobless claims numbers. This is likely where the financial cliff is going to manifest itself as we get closer to September. 250,000 new jobless claims, 230,000 new jobless claims, I projected 3-4 weeks ago. It's tracked at 230 almost on the dot every single week since then. But that's not spooking the markets. They still think that's a good labor situation. I don't think it is. So what would spook the markets? What would spook Jay Powell to potentially cause that pivot? I think it's closer to 245, 250. I think that would really spook the markets. And I think that lower corporate earnings, a weak GDP number on July 28th is a lot in 1 month. And folks, I got to tell you, we're starting the month together as a family. By the time the end of the month is going to be upon us, I think you're going to see this economy is going to be much worse off. And I think that is where the spook is going to happen. The way you prepare for this is you get every stimulus check you can. You don't wait to get the money. You go right in this video and get every check you can. And in the second half of this video, we're going to go over these incredible checks. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, become Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. And number 3, subscribe. And finally, of course, stay in the second half as we go over all these incredible forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Plus, I have a preview of tonight's Evenings LALATE as well. It's a beautiful July 4th, 2022, and we're just getting started. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Afternoons LALATE continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in a big second half of a beautiful Afternoons LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Hope you're doing really well. With a recession upon us, or arriving shortly, the importance of getting that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state is apparent because there's a financial cliff around the corner. And you can't wait to get this money. You need to get the money right now. And how do you do it? We're going to go over all these incredible checks starting right now. A series of checks that average about $100,000. Do you need $100,000? I bet you do. Did you become a member during the commercial break? I bet you did. But make sure you did. Let's show that graphic again, just to make sure you did. Go under the video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that you can get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Let's go over those incredible checks starting right now. First, what are these checks? They came from the federal government. They came from the federal government in the month of March. Joseph Biden did a series of executive orders as President of the United States, did not need an act of Congress. No act of Congress. No vote needed. Executive orders and lots of different checks that average about $100,000 or up to about $100,000. Next, where? Everywhere, in every U.S. state. Now, when I say in every U.S. state, I want to make clear, I'm referring to it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not state stimulus. So it's not coming from your governor. It's not coming from state law. It's not coming from your state legislator. So if you say something like, my state's not helping, oh, well, maybe they aren't, but this is not their money. This is the federal government. The federal government's helping. This is not your state money. I'm just saying it's everywhere. It's next door. It's under the sofa in the living room. It's basically everywhere. All right, next, the eligibility. You qualify. I'm very big on eligibility. As Kat, a longtime viewer, said, you always focus on making sure people get this money. I do. And let's go with that eligibility. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. People who are $150,000 less, married couple, go get it. Rent, own, have children, don't have children, young, old, on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it as well. Next, how important is it to get it now? It's very important. That's what the first half of this video was about. Financial cliff coming? Yes. Recession underway or about to happen? Yes. Stimulus stampede when millions of Americans try to battle you for stimulus and their back is against the wall. That's coming soon, not yet. You're not going to wait for those events. And finally, the success story. Viewers of this channel have been getting these checks since the month of March. This channel on average has gotten viewers about $45,000 from some of these checks, but has gotten viewers $15 million since it launched on April 25th, 2020. So let's go over all these incredible checks one at a time. I give it a lettering system, and the lettering system starts at the front of the alphabet, obviously. And the first check is called Check A. It's a $6,500 to $12,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. How do you get this forced stimulus check? How do you get the next one, Check B? It's always the same equation. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Go right in this video where it says join the channel. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Step 3, go down into the membership newsletter delivered via me to you, the YouTube alerts, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you find? Check A. Click the link and go right in and apply. Get those incredible sums of money. It sends you into the nationwide website. You choose your state, and then you get this money. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Ranch Check. But you're not going to stop there yet. Nope, you're going to go get Check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. $75,000 less, single individual, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. It's called the Homeowners Grant. And if you're on benefits, SSI and SSDI, go get it. How do you do it? Step 1, go under the video and subscribe. Step 2, go under the video where it says join the channel and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Then get that membership newsletter for members Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts for members. Go right down in that membership newsletter till you find Check B. Click the link. It sends you into the nationwide website. You choose your state, and then you pounce. You get these incredible sums. Now look how far we've gone already in just a few minutes. We have clearly already passed $100,000. It's $12,000, $80,000. We're just getting started because now we're going to go get Check C. Check C is a wonderful MSC, baby. On average, $2,000 a month over 12 months. And boy, is it a lot of money. It's the residue of third stimulus, but it's likely the most important checks of 2022. Why? You got a preview of this early in this recording. Americans are going to be in big trouble in just a few months. And there's nothing to protect them like 2020 protected them. But they don't know that. Many don't know that. They're going to face eviction, and they're going to think there's an eviction moratorium. There isn't. Go get Check C for rent. They're going to think that in facing a mortgage foreclosure, there is a mortgage forbearance. There is not. Go get some mortgage assistance for Check C. They're going to get a notice from the utility company saying your electric, water, heating oil, or gas bill is going to be turned off because gasoline prices are through the roof and you can't afford it. They think they can't turn it off. They can. Go get Check C. Check C has been on this channel for a long time. We first called it purple, then we called it third stimulus, and the success stories from Check C are enormous. The Check C numbers, let's look at the history of them. Do you want $20,000 to $30,000 for rent? Go get Check C. Look at that, from Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth at $27,000. Do you want utility assistance? Everything from Angela at $5,000 to Mark's brother-in-law at $15,000. Go get Check C. Snap. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year over 10 years, $250,000. And then we got the combinations. Those combinations are incredible. Look at these numbers, but that's just the start. You want to get multiple checks. And what I teach the viewers of this channel is you learn to earn. You know where this economy is every day, and you keep on getting money. You watch the videos every day, and then you go get more money. Nisi has gone from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark has gone from $32,000 to $166,000. He went to $50,000, then he went to $100,000, then he went to $166,000 because he got Check B. Lorraine, she was at $105,000, now she's at $150,000. This is how we do it on this channel. People are always getting big money on this channel for many, many years, since April 20th, 25th, 2020. I teach people how to get big money, and we have a big success story on this channel from day one because people listen and they do it, and then they go get more money over and over again. What do you need to do? 3 things. Number 1, go into the video and hit that subscribe button. You want to be part of this channel because guess what? The channel's going to have a whole new look in the next 90 days, totally revamped, and you're going to be really surprised what it is. Number 2, go into this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Join the channel and get that incredible member newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts from me to you. And number 3, hit that little bell at the front of the channel so all notifications are set to all on. Let's go to that newsletter for a second. It's important to remember how it works. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's West Coast time. So you don't live on the West Coast, learn your time zone. 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The newsletter is delivered via the YouTube alert system. You'll have an alert from YouTube. They'll say new LALATE post. The first line of the post will say LALATE newsletter. You go down in the alert, in the alert, we'll say LALATE newsletter. You go down in the alert till it says click here to go to the post. You go to the post, and there is the newsletter. You go down and see check A, check B, and check C. Now, also in the incredible newsletter is the talk of the town, the brand new LALATE worksheets. This is the only financial news channel in America that does anything like this. And LALATE is heading to number 2 shortly. We're currently at number 3. The LALATE worksheets were rolled out for members just last week. And what are they? A series of pages in which you can go in and take credible knowledge and put it into a series of pages. The first page is the incredible worksheet that you take notes on where this economy is, because you need to take notes on what you hear on cameras. Lorraine inspired with these worksheets. First page has a space to take notes about inflation, recession, labor, and Federal Reserve. The second page of the worksheets has a wonderful table that everyone's talking about. It's for stimulus, and it has the different columns, A, B, and C checks. Then it has a column to put in when you applied, then a column to put in how much you're paid, what months you're paid. So important. You need to keep track of what month you're paid, and then a column that has you put in the amount and the personal contact you have there with that organization, name and zip and extension, because you are going back to that person to ask for more money later this year. It has a page to take notes about this stimulus, the raising up of your benefits. We're going to go over that stimulus tonight on Evenings LA. Will your benefits go up $300? Will they go up $400? We'll go over the analysis, and you have to call the table to put the notes in there as well. The next page is gasoline, to take notes on Brent crude, the international price point, and the potential deals in the works. We're going to cover that tonight on Evenings LA. And the last page is 7th stimulus, 7th page of the LALATE news, of the LALATE worksheets. And what is that? It's student loan debt forgiveness. The President of the United States, in my projections, will be announcing a final chapter for student loan debt forgiveness. It will be $10,000 of student loan debt forgiven across the board for individuals who are carrying a federal loan for their student loan debt and has a valuation of $10,000 or less will be forgiven. That's for individuals who make $150,000 or less that respective year. This will culminate the entire narrative of the subject matter. The President of the United States forgave student loans that were procured by fraud by the university against them, for individuals who became disabled after graduation, for individuals who went to work in the nonprofit or public sector after graduation, their debts have been forgiven. This $10,000 student loan debt will be the final chapter of the equation across the board. Meantime, also heating up is the Build Back Better Act. The Build Back Better Act is back, rebuilt, but is it better? And what do you need to know? Well, tonight on Evenings LA, we're going to go over more about this in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But let me tell you the latest on the Build Back Better Act today. First, it's not going to pay you any money before that financial cliff. It's not going to pay you any money before that recessionary announcement of July 28th. That's why you have to get these four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You got to get this money right today. And then you'll get Build Back Better Act after that, on top of it. The latest details on all the elements we're going to go over starting right now. First, we're going to go over the negotiations. Then we'll go over the deals. Then we'll go over the narratives. Then we'll go over the provisions. First, let's go over the actual negotiations. The actual negotiations today reveal to us that the four corners, the two leading Democrats in the House and Senate, met in the last week, and they solidified a working framework for the Build Back Better Act. It is done. Number two, we have confirmation that Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer's negotiations over the last few months, on a regular basis, as first reported on LALATE, resulted in a big negotiated settlement. That is an agreement. That is that Joe Manchin will do cheaper prescription medication. Wow. Now, there you go. And finally, the statement from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer that they are going to get this to a vote before the end of July. Do I think that's going to happen? Not really. But I got to run the quote. That's at least what they're saying, and Nancy does not have a really good track record for them with the month of July. Now, let's go over the other narratives. Faux news with the animal. Faux News with the animal with the furry tail is going to tell you that the Build Back Better Act is dead. It's not. They're going to run some Joe Manchin quotes from 20,000 years ago. They're not current contemporary quotes. Joe Manchin says he's going to do the Build Back Better Act and it's going to get done. And they're going to run the quotes from Mitch McConnell, who says the Republicans will not allow it to happen. Let me make this very clear. You don't need a Republican to pass the Build Back Better Act. It is a reconciliation bill, meaning it only needs Democrat voters in the Senate and House to pass it. And they reportedly have that. Finally, there's a strange, confusing narrative of the Build Back Better Act this time around, which is that there's a bipartisan, that word again, a bipartisan piece of legislation floating out there that is being done by Republicans and Democrats for semiconductor chips. The Republicans are saying they're going to withdraw support for that bipartisan piece of legislation if the Democrats continue to pursue the Build Back Better Act. Do I believe it's going to happen? No. Am I the withdrawn support? Am I worried about it? No. But I think it's a usual landscape of what Mitch McConnell does to confuse the narrative across the board. Finally, your benefits are going up, and those benefits are going up nicely, at least $300 more per month. How does it calculate? I'll have it tonight on Evenings LA. And lastly, the Build Back Better Act will have some wonderful checks in there. There's about $18,000 to $80,000 of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. The provisions, what are going to survive, what are not going to survive, I'll go over tonight on Evenings. Remember, Build Back Better Act never had this Bentley or Rolls or Jaguar included in there for all American people. Some people have reinvented history to make it sound like everyone gets a massive payday of automatic, brilliant sums of money you can go take a bath in and just sort of go swimming in dollar bills in the Build Back Better Act. That never was the case. It was always a series of provisions with unique individual items that you have to do something to get that money. The totality of the Build Back Better Act is smaller than the forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state tonight. That is why you get the forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state tonight. They are there tonight. They're here this moment. They're here before the financial cliff happens. They don't need a vote of Congress, and you need them before that financial cliff comes so that you survive the financial cliff. Go right on this video and become a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do not wait. Get these incredible checks tonight by becoming a member, and join me this evening on Evenings LALATE in prime time. For a beautiful 4th of July weekend, God bless. Hope you had a beautiful day. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And the programming continues throughout the day. Stay here for more as LA continues.